everyone, I popped on to do day 10 of the Junk Journal July UK collaboration between Lindsey at the Vintage Button and Sandra at Be Happy Stationery. There'll be links in my description box to other people who are joining in this collaboration and also to Sandra and Lindsey's channels. So today's prompt is ink splatters, and I'm going to show you a few ways of how I do ink splatters. You don't have to just splatter ink. There are several ways of doing it to make it look like you're splattering ink when actually you're not. So I have a distress spritz called Twisted Citron. So this is a spray. Any spray you've got will do. Just always make sure you give it a shake, and then you can see you can just very gently spray on there, and that looks like ink splatters. That's way one. Way two is you can buy stamps that look like ink splatters. I mean, I've got the tiniest stamp you've ever seen here, but it does look like an ink splatter. You just press it on your looks like a little splatter of ink, and it's a more controlled way of putting your splatters, that one is. So that's way two, that is to use an ink splatter stamp. And as you can see, I've actually got a set here that I got off Amazon, and if I'm honest, I thought those were bigger than they were, but that one there is a good one for an ink splatter, this one here. I actually thought they were bigger than they are. You can see they're quite small, but I mean, they're all right. But yeah, I had wanted them bigger. And then the next one is actually ink splatter, and any ink you've got, you just get it and splatter it. You can dip in a brush and use a brush, but I usually just do this. See? If there's a piece you don't want splattering with ink, you'd cover it with another bit of paper. Yeah, that's how I do it with that. This is Nouveau Mica Mist. The trouble is, it won't spray anymore, but I have bought some more little bottles, and I'm going to try using them on it. And then another one I do is I don't splatter ink at all. For a more controlled splatter, if you like, I actually did this the other day on a nautical thing that I did. And for a more controlled splattering, I just actually use a pen and just do dots of colour like that. So I just wanted a bit just there. I'll just use a pen to do it rather than actually splattering the ink. Another thing you can use is acrylic paint. You can water down some acrylic paint. You don't even have to water it down that much, if I'm honest. You can use acrylic paint, water it down a little bit, get one of those fan brushes if you've got one. In a lot of brush packs that you can get the brush that fans out, and you could just tap your brush, dip it in your medium, whether it be acrylic paint. I've got some watercolour paints down there I'm going to show you in a minute, and yeah, whatever medium you've got, your ink, your acrylic paint, your watercolour paint, just dip your brush in and tap it, and it'll do your ink splatter. So I'm wanting to use this in my journal, in the journal that I'm making for this collaboration, the Junk Journal July. And I've got some, it's actually purple, this ink is. It's not ink, it's paint. And what I've done, I've put some water onto the ink so that it makes it watery like that. And I'm just dipping my brush in. I always love to use these brushes, the water brushes, because they're just fantastic. And it's a really dark, like aubergine purple, and I'm going to do a little bit of a splatter on there like that, and I'm I'm going to use that in my journal. I'll show you in a minute where I put it, but that's my favourite way to ink splatter, just like that. Yeah, and that's how I usually do it. And this is like a glittery, there's sort of a shimmery paint as well. And then you just rinse your brush really well, get all the paint off it, empty your water out. Then next time you can just refill it with water and do it again with whatever colour you want. So let's try it with a light colour as well, shall we? Let's do it, well, not, I don't want white. Let's do this, let's try this one, which is like a light coppery colour. So, and just get your paint watery enough to coat your brush enough. I'm going to test it out on here for the colour. Yeah, that's a good colour, that is. And then I'm going to dip it in again and give a little splatter of it on here. That's lovely. Look how nice that looks. And I have got something to protect my desk underneath it. I've got a plastic pocket. I use those a lot. So yeah, that's how I do ink splatters. And let's position this in the book and see what it looks like. So then it just gives a little bit of a contrast on a page, that splatter pattern does, doesn't it, on there. So I probably wouldn't put it right there. There's my lovely butterfly. Maybe just there. Look how pretty it looks though. I'm so chuffed with that. I always say that, I know, but I am. I'm pleased with it. Maybe we could put it on there. Oh yeah, that looks pretty on there, doesn't it? So I'm going to put just the bottom and the side, and then it's ready to have a piece of ephemera or two popped in there. So that's perfect for that, isn't it? Love that. So that was my take on today's prompt, which was splatter. I hope you enjoyed that and got some inspiration from it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.